Good evening. It is Thursday, the 23rd of November, 2023. It's coming up to 8:30 p.m. UK time. And this is the 45-day show 013, episode 13. And this show is a little bit different to some of the other shows I've done. It's more about what is coming up now, or if there's an event coming up, like, for example, like we had ADP's mental health raid train, or if there's a particular event that's happened, say, with 45 Day. But this one today is someone that I thought it'd be great to have come on, because we as record collectors like to collect records. We like to collect, if we're 45 DJs, these adapters as well. We like to collect slip mats, and we like to collect record boxes as well. And my good friend Keith Fowler had his record box in Edinburgh, and I saw it last year, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I sort of followed for a little bit, and then I ended up buying one myself this year, which I'll show you later. But without further ado, that is why I thought I'd get him on, because it's a really cool record box. And this is Kris from LOWrecycled. How you doing?
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for coming along. Sorry for the slight lengthy sort of introduction, but I thought it'd be cool to sort of explain how we've got to this sort of point, really.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's nice to meet you. Yeah, thanks for buying a box.
Yeah. No, we'll bring it down in a minute and show it. But I have been showing it on the streams, which is cool, and people like it. But with pretty much all my guests I ever have on, I'm always interested to know about their musical influences and how they first got into music, because it's a real passion for me and a lot of other people. So I like to know how they first got that. So what sort of age, and was it brothers, sisters, parents, friends? Who was it who first got you into music, and what type of music?
I'm not too sure who it was that got me into it, but I grew up in Glasgow, so for me, it was hardcore techno.
Right.
And it was, which is quite popular back then, but it was tapes. So you used to sell
Cassettes,
tapes
yeah.
at markets, and I
Okay.
just got addicted to buying these tapes and kind of having like the kind of best kind of music. So that was my initial collection, was just collecting these tapes and going there and being excited to go to the market every Saturday to find new hardcore tapes.
So are these tapes? Are these
Yeah.
tapes from events?
I think some of them were, yeah, or they were just dodgy recordings from other things, and they were just kind of packaged up and kind of wrote on like self-made tapes at these market stalls.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I liked having music that nobody else had. So that was my initial kind of start of the kind of DJ thing, was like having music, and I wouldn't share my tapes.
Okay.
Because I didn't want anyone to record it, because I wanted, I didn't want anyone else to have them. But that was my initial love, was that, just constantly listening to music on tapes.
That's amazing. And when we're talking about tapes, did you have like a Walkman equivalent, or are we talking like a sort of unit that had tapes?
I think it's just
as well.
a ghetto blaster, just a standard ghetto blaster. It was nothing too technical, or I don't even know if I had. I probably did have a Walkman. Yeah. But it was just my wee ghetto blaster at home. Yeah. But that was at a young age. I was like obsessed with it. Just that electronic kind of hardcore techno.
Yeah, amazing. And can you remember any of the artists or any of the DJs that would have been on those tapes?
Lenny D.
Okay.
There's so many now. I think they actually still play in Glasgow now and again. But no, I can't remember. Ultrasonic, the few others. But it's more the mixtapes, like the Hardcore Heaven mixtapes, and Resurrection was massive.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. So did there come a point where that sort of moved on to you buying records? Did that lead on to that?
No, do you know, it didn't actually. It was, well, I went to a house party once, and it was a set of decks. The first time I was introduced to decks, it was set up in this party, and the guy asked me to DJ. I had no clue what I was doing, and I just went for it because I was mesmerised by these things.
Right.
So that was my first experience. I just stood up. I had no clue what I was doing, but I just tried to mix two tunes together. And ever since that point, I was obsessed with records. I had to get a set of decks, and I had to start collecting vinyl. So it was at that point, I think I must have been at 15.
So what sort of year is that then? When's
15? That must have been 2000 and not even 1998.
Okay. Yeah. So there's still early days. You know, there's no internet, no mobile phones. You know, it's just records, isn't it?
Yeah. And at the time, I didn't know much because I wasn't going out clubbing. I was too young, so I didn't know much about that world. Or the club scene or anything. I had a big sister, and she collected flyers on her bedroom wall.
Right.
They introduced me to that world, and she would talk about it on nights out. So it wasn't until I was 18, and I started working in pubs.
Yeah.
And then at the time, it was like pre-clubs, so the DJs would come in and play in the pubs, which you don't do anymore, so it's quite a sad time, but they used to come in and play in the pubs, and then they would move on to the club, so it's like a kind of warm-up.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense, yeah.
So at that time, and I live in Glasgow, so it's like a busy, it's a cool city, so it was always kind of kicking off, and I worked in a place in the city centre, and the DJs would come in, and I'd be the person that would blow out the decks.
Right, okay.
So I'd set the decks up for the DJs, just because I loved it so much, and they would always thank me for it.
Yeah.
So I became that guy. So I was always kind of obsessed with it, and I was always watching, and I loved that scene, and that kind of got me getting records. So I would listen to what they were playing, and go to the shop the next day and buy it. I'm not saying it was any good, but that got me collecting, and just obsessed with that scene and who's who and the DJs, and that was my kind of starter. Just when I kind of 18.
And did that carry on then? I mean, did you end up DJing a bit more in these bars?
Yeah, well, I used to kind of sometimes I'd get to know the DJs and get to know, sometimes they wouldn't come up to their shift, or they'd just not want to do it on a lazy Sunday. And I would take over so they can go home. Yeah. So I've done like a few hours now here and there. Just to try it out. Again, it was quiet night, so it wasn't too bad. But I enjoyed that aspect of it.
And I'm assuming at that time it probably was 12s, wasn't it? It wasn't the sort of 45 scene that we've sort of got now.
Yeah. So it's definitely all 12s and singles. Yeah, that was my kind of starter. It took me a while to discover the 7 inches.
Yeah, I think we will get there eventually. As DJs. Yeah. We will get there eventually. Good evening, Music Spasms. Nice to see you. Right, so let's sort of move on a little bit from that to the sort of furniture making, because that's sort of what brought us together. So were you making things from a young age? Have you always made furniture? Have you always used wood in terms of a creative medium?
No, strangely not. No, I think I'm just a creative individual in the terms of everything, like music, everything. I think I just need that outlet. I think it's more so. I just like making things or creating things in my hands. So it just kind of evolved into that. I just used to kind of make stuff around the house, and then I made a friend a record box for his birthday.
Yep.
That was kind of one of the first things I made, actually, was a record box. I've still got it in my house, actually.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what's it like? I mean, if we can't see it, what describe it?
It's actually quite nice. So I made it with, it's got finger joints in the corners, and it's just like old bits of wood, and I think it's got a green lid and a cream coloured lid on it, and it's like an old suitcase lock system on it.
Okay, and that's a 12-inch box.
Yeah, 12-inch, big, huge, chunky thing. So that was one of the first things I made with woodwork, was a box for my friend's birthday, and then that kind of grew that idea. I think I looked around to see other people's wooden boxes, and I couldn't find any. I couldn't really find much online. So that kind of sparked the idea of, well, I want to do it. So that was it. Took me a few years to get to the stage of actually making them again, but.
And I mean, how long ago are we talking now? You know, how far back do we go? How long have you been?
That was when I started woodworking. Maybe it was 7 years ago, from scratch. Okay. I didn't really know what I was doing. My website's been launched for 3 years now. So it was in between that time of just creating things and just coming up with ideas and just coming up with the idea of what I'm doing now. It's kind of had to kind of evolve, so it took a few years to get to that stage.
Yeah, it's like any idea, isn't it? It starts somewhere, and you sort of try things until you find what works, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes been made, but I always knew I wanted to make for myself, not in a selfish way. I just wanted to make things that I wanted to make, that I was interested in. It wasn't so much what other people were interested in. So for me, it was always going to be record boxes and music stands, or, you know, music somewhere for your record unit, you know. Yeah, so it was always going to be that, because it was all around my interests, and I couldn't see much out there. And there's obviously a wee market now for kind of display tables and record units.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of we had King Otto on the show, and he designed some boxes and stuff. So we had some fun with him. And then there's another DJ, I think DJ Xanfu, I think, as well, or Radit, I think, who makes them, and it's really interesting. But they're based outside the UK, so it almost makes it very difficult, even if someone wanted to buy them. Obviously, worldwide shipping is around, but it's just so expensive because of what it is. You're always looking to find something close to home. Now, obviously, the thing that immediately sparks your eyes is the sort of crisscrossing on. There's a specific word for it, isn't it, for what you're doing with the bits of wood? I think it begins with E. Is that right?
No, it's a chevron. So I think there's parquet, but that's slightly different.
That's why I was thinking.
It's just a chevron,
Yeah. So tell us about how you source your wood, because that was something very interesting when I first found out a bit more about you. Because it was like recycled for a start. But yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so again, it's just at the beginning. I mean, I started woodwork from nothing, so I didn't have anything, tools or anything, or money. So it was all about material, and wood prices have just went crazy. So for me, it was just collecting bits of wood in the street, just to practice on, you know, just to make stuff for myself. So it just evolved from that. It's the collector thing in me. I love a skip, you know. I just get excited when I see a skip. It's like I love collecting wood now. So it's like there's that collector thing inside me. So I just like finding different bits of wood, and I just store it away.
It's like digging for records, but you're digging to try and find bits of wood.
Yeah, it's the same feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the exact same feeling for me. It's digging for records. It's the same kind of joy I get from it when you find that good bit of wood amongst the rubbish in the bargain bin. Yeah, no, it's the same kind of feeling. Maybe that's what attracted me to it. And that's what I found really good wood. I found walnut one day.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, walnut floorboards. And that got me just hooked. I was like, right. And then I started to see more different bits of wood and try to like find out where they were from, and discovering they're from India and like around the world. And again, that was me just hooked on it. And so the chevron is just a showcase of all the wood that I've got. So I just try and cut out any bad bits or any nail holes or anything, and just showcase the good bit of the wood. And again, it's like I looked online and there wasn't many people doing it at all. So that was my kind of niche, you know. That was my way into woodwork, you know. That was that's my thing, so I'm going to hold on to that because nobody else does it, and I'm a beginner, so that was my way into that world, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean they're amazing. Well, as I said at the beginning of the show, I saw Keith Fowler had one. He'd come down from Aberdeen to Edinburgh when we did our event last July last year. And then I saw it then, and I was like, yeah, it's cool, but I didn't really take much in. And then I sort of checked you out online, and then I saw what you're doing. It was really interesting. And then I saw him again this year, again in Edinburgh, and he had it there again. And as soon as I saw it again, I was like, yeah, I think I've got to get one of these. And they're great. But yeah, I'll just bring down my one from here.
Yeah, go for it.
But yeah, I really liked the green. It's almost like a military sort of feel to it in terms of sort of the greens and that, but also a little bit of almost a reggae feel as well.
Yeah,
because you got the sort of yellow and the sort of black and gold in there and the green. So yeah, that's what for me. Sort of a little bit of military feel, but also almost reggae colours, and I love reggae. So you get the different types of wood, and then you sort of chop them up and then put them together, see what colours work.
Yeah, so it's almost like painting, I guess. So I just cut the wee bits up, and then I just kind of pieced them together to see what looks good. So yeah, the paint stuff as well. It's like finding so much wood with paint on it. It's like it's already painted, so it saves me time to do it. But that just got me going as well. The orange and the grey one was my kind of first one I did with the paint, and I fell in love with it myself, and it was really popular. But it's just using what I find, I guess, and trying to be creative with it. And the camouflage was in my head with all the browns I was finding in the green paints. So it kind of made itself, essentially.
Yeah, no, it's great. But also it's really well made with the clasps and the handle and everything else. But yeah, it's just really got a great feel for it. And I think for me that they're all pretty much one-offs, aren't they? Because it's not the same bit of wood is going to be available. So each one is going to be entirely unique to the next one, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, it's all timing. It's like what wood I've got in stock, or and it's different types of wood. They're just obviously put together differently. But yeah, no, I wanted to make them original to flight cases. I didn't want to make a home record box. I wanted them to be a flight case, the same way they're made, with the rivets and the lid comes off, but just made out of wood. So it's just a wee homage to the collector.
Yeah, and I think it just fits in with the whole vintageness of the fact that we're playing records as well, and it sort of fits in with that aspect as well. No, they're really great. So that's the sort of chevron design. Obviously, behind you sent me a photo of it before of the new design that you're sort of going to be starting working on. So tell us a little bit about that.
It's not so much a new design; it's the same. I mean, the chevron thing stuck with me. People recognise me for it, and it's
okay.
I've tried to play about with the material, so I basically make the material before I make any item.
Yep.
So I've just tried to kind of up the game a wee bit. So it's just it's the same chevron, but it's done in a scale from dark to light, and each chevron's got a bevel on it, so it looks like a cushion.
Yep.
Almost. I can probably get out of the way and show you.
Yeah, you can see it going up.
Yeah, so I've put a different lock on it as well. I could probably bring it forward just to show it off. So it's more of a deluxe version.
There you go.
It's kind of got the flat top, and it's just got a thicker felt inside.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just more of a deluxe box.
Yeah, it's great.
A 7-inch one will be available soon.
Yeah, and then are you planning to do that version for a 7-inch vinyl box as well?
Yeah, so definitely. So I'm just trying to experiment with different material and trying to make it a bit more interesting, something different. So yeah, they'll be doing that with the 7-inch ones. But I think I'm going to concentrate this year more on the boxes as well and have different ones.
Yeah,
and just whatever wood I've got, make a box and then put it up for sale. So it's just I utilise the woods that I'm finding rather than sticking to like the green and the orange one.
Yeah. So they'll almost be quite unique as well then.
Yeah, definitely. It'll just be a complete one-off. Yeah. So if I make it, it's for sale, and if you want it, it'll be definitely. Yeah. I think I'll just experiment as well. I do want to do one that's like a box with the stickers on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the old DJ flight case, but the stickers will be ingrained,
stickers on everything.
inlays, bits of wood. I'm selling my ideas here so people can steal and run away with them. But so hopefully that box is coming out soon as well.
Yeah. No, there's some. I think one of the other. I think Raduit. I think there's like a box with stickers on. He was selling, but I don't know if it was wood or if it was metal. I can't remember what it was. But again, the thing is, we're collectors, and as I said at the beginning, we collect records, adapters, slip mats, record bags, record boxes. So it's the sort of thing that you never have enough space for your records as a DJ record collector. So it's always nice to have somewhere else to sort of put the record. So that's going to be cool. Right. Okay. Now, obviously, this is just on Twitch TV, but you are an artist on a much bigger show, the BBC's sort of Money for Nothing. And my friend Dan Heath has also been on that for quite a long time, and he's sort of told me a little bit about how it works and all the rest of it. But tell us about that show. How did you first get involved in that show?
someone put them onto. I think they must. I think it's my Instagram. They saw my Instagram and they sent me an email asking if I'd be interested in working with them. Which obviously, yeah, it's a great email to receive.
Yeah.
But I didn't know much about it. I'd never saw the show before, so I had to kind of
Okay.
educate myself on the TV show. But no, it looked great, and
Yep.
I was a bit apprehensive about being on camera. To be honest, I wasn't. I was a bit shy about the workshop as well. I always call it the Fisher Price workshop. If I compare it to the guys on YouTube, yeah, it's not the greatest. So yeah, they came in. So they sent me some wood, basically. They sent me material, and then I had to kind of create something. And again, the first thing I made was a vinyl unit, which I think they were actually a wee bit against. They didn't actually think they wanted that. They were like, I don't think they realised, but it sold. But yeah, that's what I made. I created the vinyl unit for a record.
Amazing. Welcome, Electro Queen 510 to the 45-day community. Right, so yeah, because obviously, if people haven't watched the show, essentially, I can't remember her name. I think it's Mary, the woman who hosts it.
Sarah,
that's it. Sarah goes to a tip and basically finds stuff that people are going to throw away. Generally, this is how I've seen it. And then she comes back and then she gives it to one of you. And then obviously says, what are you going to make out of it? So what you're saying is they sent you wood as opposed to sort of actual units or anything.
Yeah, so they sourced it from the dump, and then so they sent me. So they sourced floorboards for me.
Right.
Yeah, so I got sent the floorboards, and then I had to obviously make an item, and then they take the item back and sell it.
Yeah.
And then the profit goes back to the person that gave the floorboards to the dump.
Yeah.
And they can either.
I bet they can't believe their luck.
Yeah.
I bet these people are going to this dump more often now, hoping that they're going to throw something away that's going to be picked up. I mean, that's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, it was their floorboards or whatever. So, I guess they can get their money back. How is it? Is it a lot of pressure? Have you got any idea how much wood you're going to get before it arrives so you can plan? Or is it literally, right, there you go, get on with it, you've got, and also how long have you got to do it?
Yeah, so they send you photos first so you can see if you can work with it. So you generally have an idea. I think I make it harder on myself because you're on TV and I want to make something big. So I always go big, which is probably my worst thing to do, especially for the last one. Yeah, the timescale. So they film you over like three days.
Okay.
Or three separate times. So it's different stages where they come in and film. So at the beginning when you receive the wood, and then they come back when you're kind of halfway through it, and then they'll come back when it's finished.
Right. Okay. But is that it? Like literally 3 days?
Yeah.
Is it a lot of pressure?
You don't have 3 days to make it. You can make it over.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
You can be. I'm giving away trade secrets, so you can take it. Whenever the cameraman's ready.
Yeah. TV's TV. We know how that is.
Yeah.
And then how have you found that? Has it been positive for you, and has it been positive for your career?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a great opportunity to do. It's definitely boosted my confidence, and because I'm self-taught as well. So it can be challenging when you're up against or just the perspective of it. I think coming from self-taught is different because you're always the underdog, maybe. So it's kind of helped me kind of go all in with the work. It's helped me with my own confidence as well that I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, it's been great. It's been challenging as well. Even on the camera, because I guess that's what we all do now is for Instagram and things. It's all about
definitely
presence and camera and kind of getting comfortable with your own voice. So it's definitely helped with that aspect as well.
Yeah, and it's also, I guess, the sort of marketing, because obviously everything's on social media, and people's attention span's very short, so you have to sort of try and capture their attention straight away. So yeah, being on camera and being on TV hopefully will sort of help people come through. But tell us a bit. You talk about like bigger things. Obviously, we talked about the record boxes and a vinyl unit. What other things do you build?
Essentially anything. At the beginning, I just tried to. My initial thing was I just came out with a collection. I made a collection of items, and that was my self-training almost. Like that
Yeah.
was me pushing myself out, and that was my first website, was putting that out and showing people basically that, look, this is what I've made. What do you think? And that had like quite a big items in it, of sideboards and coffee table, things like that, and to smaller things, you know, to like, I was just experimenting with myself to figure out what direction to go in for myself.
Yeah.
So I make the material. So again, it's like I like pushing the boundaries of how big I can go. Or yes, I mean it's a difficult thing to do if you're making loads of big items out of small bits. Out of
Yeah, because you're
recycled
building
wood.
all the small bits first, and then sort of reassembling them on the
Yeah.
big bit.
So essentially, you're making the material, which
It's
can
almost
take
like
a
a
few days.
big jigsaw in a way. You're making all of
Yeah.
this, and then you're sort of piecing it all together in bigger sort of sections.
Yeah, it's a bit chaotic. It's a bit mad. But it's a recycled wood as well, you know, so it's a lengthy process. So yeah, big projects are big projects.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
no, I like making the smaller things. I love making the boxes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do. I
and
really
they look
enjoy them.
great. Yeah, and also
Yeah.
that it's clearly music and records is still a big part of your life. Obviously, you explained how at the beginning you were getting into techno. What are you into now? You still into techno or something else?
I guess so. I mean, I love electronic music. Again, I'm from Glasgow, so I'm blessed with being from Glasgow with so many great DJs and
Yeah,
clubs, and yeah, and even the scene is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I've chilled out more because I'm older, but in the workshop, I listen to a lot of ambient music just as I'm
okay.
working. I love the fact I can listen to music all day. Like that's
Yeah,
half the reason I do what I do. But I listen to everything. I think being a record collector as well, which is you just collect everything. Especially when you're kind of getting into it and a lot of charity stuff. You're listening to everything from every era, every genre. As long as it's good, I just like listening to good music. That's what I say.
yeah,
So I
definitely.
listen to good music. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's good.
Yeah. And I think I asked you possibly before we started about being a record collector. We were going to talk about that, and I think you described yourself as a slow record collector. But I think you said from about the age of 15. So you have carried on pretty much all the way through.
Yeah. So I was a weird one though growing up. So nobody collected records when I had nobody in my circle that liked records. You know, I was a weird guy.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing with these things? So it's kind of hard until I met other people that had, and then I can buzz off them. So I met some people in my older life. So that spurred me back on again to collect records, and we'd do record nights together. And
Yeah.
so I was collecting constantly. And so I have these moments where I just, for a year, I'm non-stop, and then I'll slow down and concentrate on something else at work. But it'll always come back. So it's just been a thing over the years, like stop and start. But I still love it. It's the same thing. I love going collecting. I do it regularly when I can, you know, just disappear.
So where would you? Cause I mean, I've been to Glasgow a couple of times. I think we were up there last year and then the year before. We did a couple of events at the Vinyl Bar and near Queen's Park. There's a record store, I think near Queen's Park. But where do you go digging if you go digging in Glasgow?
So I don't actually go in Glasgow.
Okay, where do you go digging?
I go to charity shops. I'm always looking. If I see records, I'll have a flick by. So I go. There's a place in Stirling that a friend introduced me 2 years ago.
Go on
Europa
then.
Music.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I go there for
I don't
4
blame
hours,
you.
5 hours, and just hide away. And nobody really comes round, you know. So you're there by yourself with a record player, speakers, and all the records. So I just spend the day. If I can, you know, if I'm having a bad day, you'll find me in Europa Music.
Yeah. So Ouija from Glasgow is the one who told me about that. I saw he posted something on his Instagram and he told me about that. And so I went, I think it was last year. And then my friend Decal, he's from Scotland originally, but he lives in Australia and has come back for a holiday, ended up there again. And he said that the guy said to him, you know, there's like another 20 or 30,000 in the basement. if you want to go and look. And it's like, oh, so yeah, apparently there's more downstairs.
No way, you never told me that.
Yeah,
I'm checking
apparently.
it out
So,
next time.
ask him. Maybe I'm giving away trade secrets, but that's what he said to him. So next time you're there, maybe say, is there any more downstairs?
I
I
didn't
don't know
know.
how sorted they are. That'd be the only problem, but
Yeah, they're quite organised.
oh yeah,
That's quite organised.
it was brilliant. I think because I went with my wife and daughter, so we went to Stirling Castle, then came down, then they went off for lunch, and I had like an hour, and I was like, I could be here for hours. So many records. And then it's only when I moved forward to the next bit, I was like, oh no, there's a whole nother load here as well. But that's the sort of place you want to find as a record digger. That's exactly the sort of place you want to find.
Yeah, I love it. I wish there was more.
Yep.
I do wish there was more like that, but it's great, and it's great. Yeah, it's a good shop, but I feel like it's been exhausted now.
Yeah, that might be the problem, especially if you're able to get there regularly. But
yeah, I've spent too many hours in it, I think. But no, I love it. Just even going, I don't have to buy anything. I just go and spend hours flicking and playing music.
Yeah, there's something about it, isn't it? And I mean, the way I describe it is if I go to a record shop and I'm sort of flicking through a crate, is I'm seeing artists or I'm seeing like a producer or a label or something, and it's making a connection in my head thinking, oh, I know that artist. Oh, I know that singer, or I know that producer or whatever. And it's just, it's amazing how music works in our brain, because it's all there, probably everything we've ever heard, but you have to have a spark to get it back out again, don't you?
Yeah, well, I think it's an educational thing as well. I think the more I researched, the history of music and the names popped up, then I would recognise them on the record sleeves. And initially at the beginning was, that's a nice cover, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And then and now I'm looking at the small details. Where is it? When was it produced? Just where was it produced and what era was it produced in, and just the small details of
That's joining the dots, isn't it? Who made this, where was it made, who was the producer, who was the, and it just sort of feeds you down. You're like, oh, I wonder if that song's good because of them, which you might never have found. So, yeah, no, it's cool. Right, it's been great. We're gonna raid out to DJ Mr. Thing. So we're gonna go and see him. I think that's working. No, hold on, I've missed something on. That should hopefully work. There you go. We're going to go and see DJ Mr. Thing, who's doing Thing Thursdays and is always an amazing DJ. He's been part of our We Love 45s events. And so, yeah, check that out. Kris, thank you so much. It's been really interesting talking to you. Really interesting stories. And, I love my box, and I probably will get a custom one at some point when I've got time to sort of focus on what I want on it. But I will let you know. But thank you so much for being a guest. If you hang on there for a minute, we will say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, Criztoz.